This is Sylvia Farstein, and I am on the air with Mike King. He is widening the lens of humanity, and I'm so happy to be a part of his journey.
Business show in RVA. On the mic with Mike in RVA. On the mic with Mike.
On the mic with Mike.
On the mic with Mike. On the mic with Mike.
One person did that.
Mike. He's like a guru.
He's a lunatic.
No, he's a businessman with a great radio show.
And he supports the non-profits. Watch his show and grow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the mic with Mike. I am your host, Mike King. Thank you for being here with me. This is part of the Mike King Biz Media Network, ESPN Richmond 106.1 International Business Growth Radio, Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern, as well as CW Richmond TV Wednesday and Friday. This is a business show, just so we're clear. It's a business show. Yes. But it's business-ish, because we can sort of go off on left sometimes. We showcase business and people in RVA who are doing some amazing things. We left the light on. Michelle came back. So now, all right, I look at you as a branding expert, but somebody that's like branding with feeling, like helping people find their voice.
Absolutely.
But then I see something on the whole other side that we're going to touch on, and my good friend Anna Soden from Swift Creek Living is in the building. She's going to join us because this may, it may go a little sideways. All right, really quickly. So, Michelle, tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. Michelle Mercurio. I call myself a people catalyst, a brand writer, and authenticist. And authenticist is just a word that I made up because I believe in getting to the heart of things and being very transparent, very authentic in everything that I do. I think I really help people get to the center of who they are and remember themselves and remind them who they really are based off of who they are on the inside rather than what the world puts on them. And I do that in a variety of ways. I do that through brand voice and writing, content strategy, that kind of thing. And then that other thing that you alluded to,
yes, ma'am,
which I call my witchiness. And I help people use tarot and retreats and meditation and tools to basically access, free, and heal themselves so that they can be more of who they really are.
Okay. Alrighty. So now, like back in the day, I always go with that. Back in the day. If you were on the treadmill of life and you stepped off for medical, maybe women got off this with a family, or maybe you just needed a break. The world said Mike wasn't strong enough. He couldn't take it. So the world kept going. Well, the pandemic came and everybody got sent home one time out.
Yes.
Let's talk about what people look like from your standpoint now as opposed to prior to the pandemic.
I feel like everyone did take that pause and realize that there was, well, I hope that a lot of people took that pause and stepped back and said, oh, I have been feeding a machine that actually isn't designed with human needs in mind. And so if that is the case, where's my own humanity? Where is it that I want to spend time? What are the causes that I want to help move forward? We had George Floyd's murder. We had Breonna Taylor's murder. We had a lot of things happening. We had a very good social reckoning in so many ways where I think we all went home for a timeout and then we remembered what actually really matters.
So when you look at things now,
yes,
how are we different than when we came out? Are we starting to get our feet, back settled again? The other part to that one is we have Katie in the building who is a senior at Longwood. Younger people these days really are tying their not just feelings but their interest to business endeavors.
Right.
As opposed to before, we were kind of check your stuff at the door when you went and punched the clock. You're shaking your head like, Those days are gone.
Those days are gone. I think you have to integrate your whole self in everything that you do. And if you're looking to segment yourself and be a different person in different ways, show up with, a career mindset or show up with a family mindset. I'm not saying that there aren't things that you're going to compartmentalize, but I think that the only way forward, and especially for our future graduates, is they're inheriting a world that is in chaos and continuing to spin toward that. So if they do not bring their whole selves, their whole hearts, their whole minds, and also remember to take care of themselves in the process, nothing's ever going to work.
Alrighty, so Michelle's here with us. How can people find you out there?
You can go to my website at michellemercurio.com. You can find me on Instagram at mishmerk. You can also find that tarot stuff at yourresidentwitch.com or at your.resident.witch on Instagram.
Alrighty, so let's talk about a tribe and your crew and the power. I always say there's a power in numbers. And who you hang out with says a lot about who you are and where you're going. So our friend Sharon Soriano Greenwood had an event.
Yes.
You see a bunch of, there's some crazy energy in that room. There's some heavy hitters there.
Right.
Talk about a person and their tribe, and also how important that is.
So I do love the Rebel Crew. I recently got the opportunity to write the cover story for their summer release magazine. So I've known Kelly Lemon for a really long time.
I didn't.
And I love her.
I got to tell you my Kelly Lemon story.
Oh, yeah. Tell me your Kelly Lemon story.
Okay, so I get here in 2014, so I was helping out the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
And so I'm there, and I'm at a TV station, so what do you guys need? We're having an event, and we could use some exposure. Fine. We have a commercial. Fine. But it's dated. We have the footage, but we need somebody else to voice it. They're like, call Kelly. I don't know. I'm there because of Synapse. And
right.
You know, I'm talking, so I get on the phone. Hey, my name is Mike King. They gave me your number. Could you come and voice this thing? So she comes into NBC 12. She hits the door. Hi, I'm Mike. She's in there. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Kelly. Hey, Kels, how you doing? Everybody.
Everyone knows Kels.
Right.
Yeah.
So we go. We voice the commercial. She knocks it out. Boom. And so I say to her, you need to be on TV. And I'm the guy to make it happen. Okay. So this is right when Brewers Cafe opens. So I get my sales pitch together. And I'm like, I'm going to make you somebody. I'm going to make you a star. We're sitting in Brewers Cafe. Everybody walks in. Kels, hey, how you doing? Hey, everybody.
And you realize she was already a star?
I looked at her and said, who the hell are you? Because clearly everybody knows, and I don't.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I understood. So fast forward a little bit of time, so I engage with her a little bit. I'm outside, and she's like, hey, Mike. I'm like, Kelly knows my name?
Yeah, there you go.
She's
making you a star.
And all of a sudden, there's a time, so we've done projects together, and there was a couple of times when she calls and says, hey, Mike. When Kelly Lemon calls you and gives you a little bit of guidance.
You do it.
Exactly, because that's the position when she is. Yeah. She knows everybody, and what she does is she makes you feel the article you wrote, the picture that went with it.
That was beautiful.
Yes, it was. And it just spoke to her.
Emmeline did the outfit with that. I know that there's a great photographer. Pretty. Like everybody, like Sophia did the photography there. Shannon pulled together that whole issue of the Rebel magazine. There's a lot of fantastic, wonderful, powerful business women. And when I say powerful, I don't mean in that toxic, like, oh, they're all corporate, they're all career. These are real women who are making real impact throughout the world. And I think that, not just in Richmond, but even bigger than that. So I think that there's a lot to be said for what you said, like, tell us about your people.
There is something. Thing. So in the building with us, as well as Anna Soden, Katie is with us. Anna Soden, so when you talk about them powerful women, Anna Soden owns a magazine, Swift Creek Living, and I call her the Human Rolodex.
There you go.
Because
I love
it's about women who are making, they're powerful women who are out there making a statement, and it is all about, the tribe that you keep.
Yep.
So
before you transition off of this, I also have to give a plug for Creative Mornings.
When you were here before, that is okay.
We talked a little bit about Creative Mornings before, so just really quick, Creative Mornings is the longest lasting monthly creative event that is open cross industry. We believe that everyone is welcome, everyone is creative. We are always on the third Friday of every month, although I will say we are taking a summer break this July, but we have an event in June, and we will have another event in August, and really we're here to continue to elevate voices in Richmond who are changing the game and doing wonderful creative things.
What makes Richmond such a creative hotspot like that right now? What's the buzz?
We are the root of so many things in this world. You know, rising out of being known as the capital of the Confederacy, there are so many stories here, right? There's the story of Maggie Walker. There's the story of Black Wall Street. There's the story of, the fact that we have a an oppressive kind of way about us, where that we've finally started to reckon, with some of that. There's a huge art school. There's a lot of creatives. There's a lot of people coming here and finding. We've got great chefs. We've got great music. We've got great culture. So there's a lot of people who are coming here knowing that Richmond is a great place to live. We're close to amazing things, river, mountains, beach, all of that. But then it's the microcosm, and how is it that we all can kind of come together and coalesce to bring out the stories of who we really are.
On the mic and Mike, we're here. Michelle is with us. How can people find you out there?
MichelleMercurio.com, Instagram, Mishmerk, or that Your Resident Witch site.
Because sometimes something is so good inside you. Sometimes we scream things, and other times we...
On the mic with Mike RVA is the best business radio.
Sometimes we have to whisper things because it's that voice inside.
It can be heard.
It's a voice that's inside of us that sometimes we have to listen to.
Right.
Well, now we're going back in the day. Back in the day, it was business people, and then it was the creatives. Now we're talking creative people are also having to do the business side.
Right.
And we're realizing that creative, touchy-feely stuff now plays a part in the business world as well. There was another time you just showed up at work, leave your crap at home, chop, 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 let's do it. You joined up, and this is what it is, and it's not like that anymore.
No, it's not.
We're going to have Katie, come on in. We have Katie step in here. And one of the great parts about this is we get to ask the tough questions, and we're going to get the young person's perspective. There you go, Katie, welcome.
Hi.
Okay, so Katie all right, tell them who you are really quick.
My name is Katie. I am Anna Soden's intern for the summer. I'm a marketing student at Longwood University, and I'll be graduating this December.
And you're in marketing.
Yes.
Let's explain why marketing.
Well, I've always wanted to go into it. I never changed majors when I started at school. I added an art minor because I really like the creative side, and I really like branding and creating creative ways to connect people.
Do young people, and so shout out to, I lived at Penn State and State College for 10 years. I love the college town because young people believe that the world could be a better place. Mm-hmm. You're just shaking your head like, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about what it feels like. Do you guys really worry about, not just going to work, but making an impact? Do you talk about it, or it's just kind of like the feel that's there?
I would say no. I think the internet and having that has created so many different opportunities. You don't have to go to a 9 to 5 anymore.
No.
A lot of people have so many different options. With just things like Etsy, you can make your own store of things that you want to do and that kind of thing. So I think it's easier now than it has ever been to make a difference on what you feel is important. Okay.
You have any questions you'd like to ask Michelle? So you didn't know you were being put on the spot like this, did you? No, you didn't.
This is how we roll.
This is how, because this is the part of the market. She's a branding, you like branding.
Yes.
Okay, let's start there.
So you do the visual branding. Are you talking about visual branding? Are you talking about marketing in general? I do content.
Probably
visual branding.
Yes.
So what do you hope to actually? I'm going to ask the question. So
well,
I'm going to put her
okay.
on the spot. What do you hope to really graduate into? Where is it that you want to explore for your first foray after graduation?
I really just want to find something that I like doing. I've worked at jobs where I made decent money and I hated doing what I was doing.
Same.
Same. There used to be a time that making money was enough.
Yes. It is not.
It's not the driver anymore.
How do you get paid? Do you get paid in here? I mean, yeah, cash is good. We need to have that, unfortunately, to make the world go round. But Like, are you actually fulfilled in what you do? Are you living a life, or are you wasting time for a paycheck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's a tough one, and sometimes it took people longer to get to that point. They're starting out right off the bat saying, we're not just going to chase the money.
Yeah.
Because and there's so many other ways to make money. If you're telling somebody door dashing and
Yeah.
I can make enough money to make it, or Instacarting and with all those other things, and then I could chase my passion, then all of a sudden. So, you're an artist as well?
Yes.
Okay, what do you do? Paint, draw?
Yeah, paint.
Okay. You've always been a creative?
Yes.
You've always been.
Everyone is creative.
Everyone is creative.
Everyone is creative.
But some people's creative is repressed, like mine was.
I can understand that. I'm not saying that that's not a case.
Yes.
What I'm saying is I believe that there is a spark within us all that has either been crushed or has been nurtured.
Yes, the crush part. But then eventually it starts to pop out.
Yes.
At some point, I didn't know I was a creative. Like my youngest son, it's calligraphy, it's the dance, and it's cutting up clothes. It's all those things. And we had someone in here a couple weeks ago. They said change is messy.
Yeah.
When you get, and so we're going. So both you guys are Taurus. I'm a Capricorn. When you come a lot of times to Capricorns, to me, we want things boxed up pretty, and they're like change doesn't come that way.
No.
Change is, a creative comes in with an idea, and the next thing you know, it takes form, and they meet up with this person, and then that is the process.
Life is not boxed up.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
and
a process.
life used to be a lot easier. We didn't have as much.
I would say that to be true. I think that there's a lot of things that we are inundated with now more than ever before. We have access to information that we'll never even see. Right. There's so many things always competing for our attention. I think that there is a pathway where life can be easier, but it does take way more time than we have been like systematized into taking, right? So if you only get 8 hours a day and you've got to sleep for like at least 6, and then the rest of the time you're cramming in the things that you have to do, like this system doesn't work. So how is it that you actually can make things easier? How can you return to the things that are important and look at it from that point?
Alrighty, Katie. Let's talk about the internet and what's your views on social media? Like, how do people see it right now? Yeah, when person starts going,
shaking her head no.
It can definitely be used as a positive.
Okay.
I felt like I was in like the first decade area where we were like the first people to have it, like growing up, I guess. Because I know my parents were very hesitant about it because it was new to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's still new, so I feel like if we can make it more positive than negative, it's beneficial, but there's always going to be negative and things that are not good.
Alrighty. Katie is here with us. Michelle, Katie, thank you. Thank you. On the mic, Mike, Michelle is here with us. We are keeping things moving. That's what we do here. Okay, how can people find you out there? Michelle?
Oh, back to that same website, michellemercurio.com or at mishmerca on Instagram.
Alrighty, how'd you get the Mitch merch? That's the name.
MICHMERC.
So when you were doing that, let's talk about the branding of it. So it's strictly, do you keep the branding separate?
No, actually I don't, because my brand is Michelle Mercurio. That's me. Mm-hmm. Like, so I am my brand. I'm not saying that everybody has to be that, but you're your brand.
Right.
Right? So, like, there's certain things and there's a different strategy depending on who you are and what it is you're trying to do.
So I asked you about, let's get into this other stuff now.
The tarot stuff.
Okay, so Anna Soden is here. So Anna Soden is gonna come around and we're gonna talk.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Yes,
subscribe
Anna
to
Soden.
the,
Anna Soden, introduce yourself and let me go ahead.
Your resident witch. I am
Yeah.
now. I love that you can hire your very own.
You can hire your own witch.
That's amazing.
And let me just say, though, that really quick, witch does not mean anything other than somebody, like in my terminology, it's just somebody who's in tune with what these tools are.
Right.
That's it.
Yes.
And I think that, before we started here, Mike was saying, like, he grew up religious. This isn't in conflict with religion.
Right.
This is something that you and I were just talking about this, and all ways are one, right? We all come back to the center of ourselves, the center of the world, the center of where we are in the universe, and these are just tools.
Yeah.
They're not magic.
No.
We're magic. The world is magic.
Right.
People are magic.
Yes.
Humans are magic. Humanity is, well, and we're also maybe not the highest life form, as Mike was saying.
Right.
We've had that conversation.
But that's what magic truly is.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe that we're all energy, and we're all I'm reading the book. Have you ever read the book Conversations with God?
Yes.
Amazing book.
Yes.
And it's mind blowing, but it is reminding me I'm being helped to remember. We're all part of the same energy, and so it is God, spirit, universe, whatever it is that you want to call it, having experiential experiences through you, through me, through Mike. But we truly, like, if you can truly look at another human being and say, we are the same, and feel love for that other individual just because they're a human that is having an interaction, like, oh.
I think that you bring up a really good point about, though, that kind of lens of love, right? So one of my favorite books is Bell Hooks. The book is, oh my gosh, what is the book? All About Love. Sorry, just spaced it really quick. So, and she talks about living through a lens of love, and how if we can look through that lens, we see our partners, ourselves, our communities, all of these things very differently. And so when I think about spirit, and yes, we are all one, we are all having different experiences, and it's also important to note those, so we're not just spiritually bypassing things.
Right.
But I really love, if you have not read All About Love by Bell Hooks, shout out to Ashley Williams, too, of the Well Collective. She's doing a reading and discussion group on June 15th with that book in particular, but you need to read it. It's incredible, because it's really about how can you look at the world, the things that we face, the things that we do, the way that we are different, and the way that we're the same through a lens of love, rather than the lens of basically what we currently have, which is, judgment, capitalism, patriarchy. Like, there's a lot of things, right? So I'm thinking that this is we're talking about the same thing,
right?
And there's also some different things that go along with it.
Yeah.
So,
Love
yes. It. All right.
All right.
So what do we want to do with these cards?
Well,
although one just fell out, the Hermit. Go inside.
That makes
Take
sense.
some time for yourself.
That makes sense.
I think that's actually really something that's super important right now, with, even talking about, like, what Katie just said about, like, the internet, and that, that we can use it for positive and what that's all about. But I think that there's a moment where if we're not returning in, then we're overwhelmed with everything that's on the out.
Everything becomes chaotic. So
Yes.
so two of my favorite words are radical responsibility.
Perfect.
And so when I meet somebody and I find myself in judgment of that person, or I'm feeling chaos in my external world because that's what's manifesting for me, that's when I know that I need to go back inside, because there's something inside that is not right. And
I
so
have a blog about that too. Like, exactly. It's about judgment being selfish.
Oh,
Judgment is selfish. The reason you're judging somebody else is
1000%.
maybe you're not feeling something within you.
Yep.
Or that it really matters to you.
Right.
Because there are things that we do judge out in the world because they're terrible things, but it means it really matters, and are you taking the time to be with that too?
So I love the fact that was...
that was the card that popped out.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we want to do with these cards?
So let's talk... Okay, so... How does one, being a business owner and being out in the world and trying to make my mark and make an impact and really truly create a business, right? The capitalism part of it, and not and being okay with making money by helping people.
That's a real... Okay, can I just tell you how I landed at this? So I've read tarot cards since I was 13 years old.
Okay.
I did not have that yourresidentwitch.com site until last year. Okay. Never... I would do it for people, like when Allie Greenberg opened the Broad here, the Women's Club here in Richmond. I had this thing there where I did Witchy Eve, and it was basically an experience for women to come in and share and things like that. But you had to know that I did this in order to access this part of me, right? You had to be able to ask about it. And so last year, I had this moment where I was thinking about, like, I've always done this. I've always helped people go back to who they are, understand themselves, access who they are on the inside, be themselves, and free themselves, right? Like, that's part of why I'm here, whether it's through branding, whether it's through tarot, whatever. So when you say that about, like, why start a business, it was really hard to actually, it was hard and it wasn't, because I was like, oh my gosh, if anybody actually knew I read tarot cards, or I called myself a witch, like, what were the implications? And then, you know, I just got to the point where I was like, F it, like, we're not doing that. And, you know, people know I do this, so here we go. From a trying to make money capitalism perspective, I have a marketing philosophy, and maybe this is something for Katie too. I don't believe that you actually ever sell anything. I believe you show up, and if you're clear about who you are, the transformations you can help foster, the people find you, and then you move from there. Right? So I'm not out there going, hey, book a tarot reading with me. I mean, I am, but it's not, you know, it's like you can. And I'm not out there pushing it like, oh, do you want to book a tarot? Do you want to book? And I think that that's where we are, the difference between selling and serving. Right. And so from a marketing perspective and a capitalism perspective and actually putting a value on this, the value is in my time and expertise on it. Right. It's not about me selling any kind of spirituality. It's not even tied to that. Right. The tarot, I always tell people when I'm doing a reading, I'm like, the tarot's not magic, humans are magic. The tarot is a tool. It's not going to predict your future. Right. It's not Miss Cleo. Right. It's not going to tell you about all the terrible things that are about to come down your pike. It's not going to tell you about all the good things. What it does is it helps you psychologically access the things that you already know, and then orient yourself to it. That's what actually, you know, can I talk about manifestation really quick, and then I'll come back to whatever. Okay, so that's what manifestation is. There is a psychological principle. So, like, when we're talking about the business of tarot, there's an art and science, right? There's psychology studies proving that once we have something like a goal or an intention or something in our mind, that the tiny little movements that we make are actually done by us because our brain is working so much faster than we are that it's noticing the opportunity and moving us toward that. Right. That's what manifestation is. It isn't like some stupid magical thing like, oh, I manifested this, you know, $2.3 billion apartment. If I see one more white woman spiritually bypassing all of this bullshit, sorry, did I go off on a tangent? I did. No, all right, I'm back. Okay. But, like, I think that there's a lot of those things where it's like manifestation is truly knowing who you are on the inside and where it is you want to go. Right. And then making sure that the important things along the way are met, and then orienting yourself to taking those tiny steps without you even knowing it. Right. Yeah. Okay. So I went way off of your question, but I think when you said like starting a business, like I wrote this website and I did, you know, launch the account like in a day and a half, like got the name in my head. It just kind of came through because this is something that was already part of who I was. Right. Yeah. And that's what I do, you know, facilitating those things. I do day retreats. I do overnight retreats. I do tarot readings, but really it's me spending time with people so that they can spend time with themselves. Right. I love that. That's it. I love that. Yes. So, you other are thoughts. My people. Same. You are my people. I know, we're going to have to hang out. I know, right? So, when you started, like, with tarot and all of that, like, what was your, like, experience with that?
Well, so I grew up Catholic, and so had some, I wouldn't say terrible experiences, just not the experiences that felt in alignment with me. Right. And and network marketing, personal development is part of it. And so I started reading books like Think and Grow Rich, and then The Science of Becoming Rich.
Yes,
and then,
all of those things. Yes.
Ask and It Is Given by Abraham Hicks. Psycho-cybernetics, when we talk about like the psychology behind, right now I'm reading Conversations with God. And so as I was going through that, I became a yoga instructor, and then that led me down to doing Reiki. But when I first did it, every time I talked to somebody about it, they're like, "Oh, don't do that. You're going to invite the devil into your life." And I'm like, "No,
good." You know what the devil card actually means?
No. What does it mean?
It means let's be curious. Let's actually prioritize the things that we actually do want. Right. It doesn't mean do evil. Right. Yes. It means let's look at that and let's actually take a different perspective than the one that we already have. Right. That's it.
Yes. Yes.
So invite the devil in.
Right. And when we was talking like Conversations with God, like you can't experience light if you don't experience shadow.
Absolutely.
Right. So if we were all light, you wouldn't be able to say, I am the light or I see the light if there is nothing but light around you, right?
And if you don't go into those shadows, you're never going to understand what the depths of that light is actually coming from.
Right, exactly. So I have a pendulum, I have cards, I have crystals, and I don't sit with myself as often as I would like.
Yeah.
Because it's always go.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah,
I understand
that's
that
too. But
like,
I know that I am more powerful than I am currently stepping into. It's the best way to say it for right now.
I would say that is a story of most women.
Yes.
So,
but I'm noticing those things. I'm recognizing them, like the serendipitous moments. Like that's why I get excited about even the smallest things of like meeting somebody whose name is Grace today, going to Starbucks and the barista's name is Grace and my middle name is Grace. To me, that is all just the universe and God saying, hey, guess what? Anything that you want to manifest and you're in alignment with will happen. Just be open to it.
I think that's the thing about, we think that we have to go and push and do, and this goes back to the thing about business owners and especially entrepreneurs and things that Mike talks about a lot here, is that we think that we have to go and push, and really we have to stop.
Yeah.
And it's more about how you stop and you rest, and you said you're always go, and you want to spend more time. Like, that currently is always my priority. Like, I have to start every day with myself. I have to have a movement practice. I have to spend time caring for kind of this vessel and my mind, so that way I'm not taking on too many different stories and then acting out and acting in a maladaptive way that doesn't serve other humans.
Right.
Because that's the 10 minutes or the 15 minutes or the 20 minutes I give myself with my mind and with rest and my peace to be able to do it.
Yeah. I love it.
So
7 minutes.
We got 7 minutes.
Yeah,
we're getting
we're getting the boot.
We're getting the boot.
We could have this conversation for days.
We could have it for a lifetime.
Yes, absolutely.
We could have this for a lifetime. So I think that, like, when people are talking about tarot and like these moments, I have clients who book me for tarot readings a couple of times a year, and the reason that they're doing it is not because they're like, they like, I want to know what's next for me. But really, when I sit down and actually start talking to them about it, they already know that they're in a space where they want to transition, or they're not feeling really good inside, or they're feeling good, but they're not trusting it.
Right.
And they want to have somebody tell them that everything's going to be okay. That's not necessarily what a reading is for.
Right.
That being said, a reading is really for to remember and to sit down and be with your thoughts and actually have a chance to voice them. Because sometimes we have thoughts and we spin in that spin cycle. I call it, the spin cycle of the mind. And we're talking about like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this. And deep down, I know I'm not satisfied. Deep down, I know I'm not doing enough for somebody else. Deep down, I know these things. But until we actually voice that and give it power and then recognize it and then make a conscious decision to change it, that's what this is. That's what the deck is. It's not about like, oh, we're going to pull a card and like a tall and handsome stranger. Although that's a pretty good card too. I'm going to show that one to the camera. So Dominion, this is a 2 of Wands card, and it is, Wands is the card of spiritual, soulful growth. Ace of Wands, the first card in it, is about like kind of picking up your own purpose, your own soulful journey. The second one is stepping out in the world with it. So, until you actually go back in, you can't step out in the world with it. It's almost like it was for this discussion, right? And at the same time, when people book a reading with me, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's going to be okay. It might not. Right. And guess what? It still is.
Right.
So can you spend time with yourself? Can you access these things? Can you give yourself the gift that you would give your best friend?
Right.
Which is an ear. Can you soothe yourself? Can you understand yourself? Can you heal yourself? Can you be yourself? Can you free yourself?
Yes.
That's what this is about.
Yeah.
It's not about pulling some cards to predict a handsome stranger, although, I mean, you never know.
I got my handsome stranger.
So I do too. That's perfectly fine. He's not a stranger anymore.
Right,
It'll be 19 years this year. So
it'll be 22 for us, so he's not a stranger.
He's down. Well, I don't know. They're still kind of strange. They're still kind of strange.
This is true.
So there you go. But I think that's when, the reason that some of this stuff sometimes looks fluffy.
Yeah.
or people are like, this is not real. It's just, those types of things. I mean, I think that there are times where it can be used in that way, but really, like,
Well, just like with anything.
Right. Spending time with you.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, exactly.
As your website said, is what was it? The number one relationship you have is with yourself.
I said the longest relationship you'll have
Thank you.
with this life is with yourself.
Is with yourself.
And so you might as well actually take care of yourself, because that is going to influence every other relationship you have in this world.
And also love yourself.
Love yourself.
Day in and day out.
Yep.
Yes.
Even, and that's been a journey for me too, and I'm sure maybe for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's been a journey, because there were years that I hated myself.
Same.
And now I'm like, now I feel myself.
I do.
Yeah.
I like myself.
And that doesn't mean that I have arrived. There's still a lot of work and a lot of things I don't like, and I wish I could do more. And I'm working on that.
And that's the exciting part, is that there never is an arrival. It's just this journey, and getting excited about that journey. Like, every day is an adventure. And so if you can wake up with that mindset, like,
right. Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
And
it.
when the adventure's over, it should be at the very end. It shouldn't be now.
Right.
If you've gotten to a point where you're not willing to change your mind, like what Mike was saying earlier, like, change is not easy. It's not, doesn't fit in a box.
No.
Your life shouldn't either.
No.
Ever.
No.
Our identities change, whether we believe it or not. Our purpose changes, our souls change. How do we continue to meet ourselves and then greet the rest of the world with this more in tune person?
Yeah. I tell people all the time, if you thought you knew me, let me reintroduce myself.
Yeah.
Because
oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you thought you knew me yesterday, let me reintroduce myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm changing.
Yeah.
Minute by minute.
Yeah, and I think it's evolutionary, right?
It is.
So investing time in this, and not in the point of necessarily navel gazing. So I want to make a distinction and say that you can't always just be in a moment where you're like, this is about me, or it's not about you. It's about everybody else, which is why it has to be about you, too. It has to be that collective experience.
Right. Exactly.
This is all of us. We are here in the world to love, to understand, to see other people, to hear other people, to love, see, be heard, understand ourselves.
Right. Yep.
Let's take care of ourselves the way we take care of other people, so we can take care of those people too.
I love that.
Yes.
Yay.
Absolutely.
You want to?
Wrap it up? Okay,
That's
ladies
the
and
wrap
gentlemen,
it-
we're going to wrap it
that's
up.
the wrap it up.
Mike is better at this, but so I know we chatted, or Mike asked you several times how people can find you, but tell people how they can find you again.
So branding, storytelling at michellemercurio.com. Tarot, retreats, events, witchy experiences that don't even have to be witchy. I'm doing one for a group later this month. And they're like, oh, we're Catholic. That sounds weird. I'm like, how about we just get together and talk? And they're like, yes. And that would be more of a facilitation experience.
Okay.
I have a background in a lot of that kind of work. So that's at yourresidentwitch.com. I pulled one extra card.
Okay.
So go forward with strength.
Is that for Anna?
Determination. Is that
it.
you?
I love it.
You are the lion. The lion is you.
I
We
love
are all one.
Yes.
Go ahead, Carol King. Can you pull one for me?
I will.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
While she's doing that, you can reach me at Anna Soden on Facebook or LinkedIn. I would love to connect with you.
Could you put?
Yeah, LinkedIn as well. MichelleMercurio.com.
I always forget about LinkedIn.
Or not MichelleMercurio.com. Michelle Mercurio. So on LinkedIn.
Yes.
All right, Mike. Are you ready to pick a card?
Oh, yeah, okay, yes.
All right. Get in there.
Okay, how about? My wife is gonna be so proud.
All right. The Queen
Maybe
of
not.
Swords.
Oh.
So Queen of Swords.
Okay, I don't know.
So what masks are you ready to take off and continue to take off? I feel like you actually talked about this at the beginning of your journey, right? So the sword suit is the one of the mind, the power of your thought, your strength in mind. And this is, she can be anybody, but she's chosen to be herself. And I think that that's a really powerful card for you to think about as you continue, especially on your journey, and how you've said, Mike, that you've taken off different masks and you came back and you were a different person after you found your people. Like, continue to unmask and illuminate as you go, because you already know who you are, so show everybody.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Michelle is here, Anna is here. We got to go.
We do.
You can follow me on the Mike with Mike King Biz. Thanks, ladies.
Bye,
Appreciate it. Take
everybody.
care.